My name is Karla Horton, and I've been a member of this church for 9 years. Grew up in South Louisiana. I'm a Cajun Catholic girl, and I honestly, in my college years and in graduate school, kind of just drifted a little bit and just didn't really have that personal relationship and had never studied the Bible. And I was at a very, very hard part of my life that I went through. I had said to myself all this time, people had said, well, maybe you need to get back to church, or maybe you need to go to God. And I was like, we're not talking right now. I am very upset with him, and when I get my stuff together, then we will talk, and I will deal with him. And finally, I hit rock bottom. I had reached a point where I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Well, what is my purpose here? And so it wasn't a very fancy prayer. It was just, use me, Lord. Guide me, Lord. Lead me, Lord. I'm lost here, and I really don't know why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be doing. And so, as God's timing is, it took a while for him to answer. And it happened in a very amazing way that I couldn't even make it up if I tried. I was at a conference, and it was during praise and worship, and literally as loud as it could be, because God knows that I'm hard-headed, and he said it as loud as can be, and I heard him say, child, you need to open your Bible. And I opened it up to Psalm 81:10, and it said, for I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. And I said, I must be making this up, because there's no way that someone who doesn't know the Bible is going to teach Bible study. My master's degree is in nutrition. It has nothing to do with theology or spirituality or anything. And the Lord just kept saying to my heart over the next month, he's like, I don't call the qualified. I qualify the called. And the deal is that you open your mouth and I will fill it. I got up the courage and I started a Bible study. And it was something that just kind of snowballed. I got a call from Derek, and he said, I've got a question to ask you. And it was when Faith Link was changing over to the 9:30 service, and his Sunday school class, the Life Speak class, was without a teacher. And he said, I would really like you to consider to do it. And my first thought was, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that is the biggest shoes to fill that I could imagine. And I was just like, wow, I will pray about it. And definitely, I was excited, but then of course there was that fear of, I'm not going to be good enough. I don't know enough to be able to teach this class and to do things the way that I would want to do it by filling his shoes. And I prayed about it and thought about it, and God just said, you know what? Do you not remember our deal? Open your mouth wide and I will fill it. And so I decided, I took the leap of faith, and it's been the biggest blessing. It still baffles me to think that I would teach people. Yes, I have the loud mouth to be able to do it, but I don't feel that I have the great knowledge or wisdom always to be able to teach people. But God, whenever I get in that doubting phase, he says, you know what? It's okay, because even all those mistakes that you've made, I can use that. I've been able to draw from those experiences and those mistakes and be able to minister to other people and say, you know what? I've been there. Like, I know what it is to screw up royally. I know what it is to doubt and be like, how could you ever use me after I have doubted this much? How can you ever use my life after what I've gone through? But it just never ceases to amaze me that he's like, you know what? That's just going to make it better. That's just going to make it richer, because you aren't perfect and you never are going to be. God will use you exactly where you are. You don't have to arrive, or you're never going to be that perfect person that he's going to use. And you don't have to be on a church staff or a missionary or quit your job and go live, in an impoverished neighborhood. You don't have to do all those big things. Sometimes fulfilling that calling is just surrendering and just obeying. And I really think that if you feel inadequate for your calling, then it probably really is from God. Because if you could do it on your own, you wouldn't need him. And I think that he does that on purpose, because we have to rely on him. Because if you can't do it on your own, then his glory shines. And it doesn't become about you, it becomes about him. It's amazing how he gives me the strength, and he just simply reminds me, sometimes in a whisper and sometimes in the bullhorn, go.